Hi, I'm Nancy, and today we're doing a gentle or gentler version of a practice that emphasizes new beginnings. Everything is a beginning, and we are always ready, and in fact, have to, in every moment, begin again. Let's have a seat and prepare for some breathing. Arrange yourself so that you might be in a chair or sitting on the floor, but having 3 points pointing down towards the floor, perhaps knees or feet, and the hips coming down through chair or cushion towards the floor. Bring your attention to your nostrils, breathing into the nostrils, down through the windpipe, and into the lungs. Now invite the breath to come into you like filling a vase, coming down into the diaphragm as the diaphragm expands into the belly, then inhaling, expanding the lower ribs and the upper chest, and emptying all out from top to bottom. At your own rate, take 4 or 5 of these long, deep breaths as we settle in. Let the mind ride the breath. Now laying on an Ujjayi breath, contracting the back of the throat, breathing through the nose as if you were fogging up a mirror, hearing the ocean sound all through the head. Three or four more breaths. Then letting the Ujjayi breaths go. Bring your hands so that fingers are in between your lower ribs, just above the navel. We're going to do an energizing breath called Kapalabhati. Here, it's good to have your focus on the end of your nose. It's a passive inhale and then a sharp exhale, at which point the muscles come in here between your ribs. So a passive inhale, just letting it happen, and then let's try it at your own rate. And then pausing for a moment, we'll all begin together. Inhaling about halfway, we'll do it 12 to 15 times. And coming to an end. Breathe in once again. Exhale as your whole body comes over just to an easy position. And inhale back up. That's called the skull cleansing breath. So one that really cleans you out and gets you quite ready and pure for a new beginning. Bring your hands down to your sides. Inhale as you reach out through your fingers, up slowly with a long inhale, bringing palms towards each other, perhaps touching, pausing for a moment at the top of the inhale, and exhaling down, pushing slowly down through the thick air. One more time, inhaling up, celebrating the beginning of the sun rising each day, of each day giving a new potential for life. And exhaling down. Remove anything that's high that is underneath you. You can stay in a chair if you're in one. You might want a blanket under your hips if you're sitting on the floor. Crossing your legs, or always the option to keep legs out in front of you as well. The beginning of each pose can be mindfully done here as we think about beginnings. Let's bring one hand down beside you, flat on the mat or fingers on the mat. The other arm reaches up, establishing a structure, hand reaching down to the mat, fingers reaching up to the sky, and then coming over, opening up the side ribs. Coming over just as far as is comfortable and useful. One hand coming down, the other one reaching up, prepping for the pose, and then entering into it. One more time on each side, establishing the beginning and into the movement of the pose. The movement, depending on that strong foundation that you lie. And come back up. Hands come down. One hand comes to the opposite thigh, and the other one comes behind you. Lift up from hips, up through the spine, through the crown, then just gently turning the head and the body a bit to the side. This is not a large twist, just an easy twist. Coming around to the other side, establishing your hand positions, then just turning slightly. And one more time in each side as we begin to open the spine in a spiral, bringing benefit to the flexibility of the spine and also to the inner organs as they become stimulated and alive. Remaining in whatever position you are, cross-legged if that's available to you. Bring one hand around. It might come to the waist. It might come a little farther up, wherever you are comfortable. Inhale up through the crown and exhale forward. Just as far as you can support with your belly. Inhale back up and strong through the tummy. Come over a few inches and come back up. Switching hands, the other one comes behind. It might even just come to the hip if that's where you're most comfortable. Inhale up through crown and exhale forward. Once again, it's the inhale up, structure of the pose with that arm behind and the high, long spine, high crown as you come over, bending forward from the base of the spine. The bones giving the structure to allow the body to benefit. Now we're going to do an arm revolution. Often we just zoom right into it, but today we're going to give attention to the beginning. Fingers are on the mat and gaze goes to the fingers. Let your gaze pull those fingers up, and around. And gaze may not be able to follow those fingers all the way around, but just as far as is possible. Keeping the gaze in synchrony with the fingers, letting the gaze have its power, letting the vision grow, as well as the shoulder opening its range. And when you come around one more time, back around the other way, lifting up and then pushing gently down through viscous air. Come to the beginning on the other side. gaze meeting the fingers, gaze pulling those fingers up and around. Feeling some opening in the shoulder and also in the neck. Mindful of how each pose begins and open to its full potential. And back around the other direction, lifting up and coming down through viscous air. Let's set up the beginning for windshield wiper legs, which we do often. Feet in front, knees up, hands come back behind to support you. Make sure that you have weight in the heels of your hands and the balls of your hands and fingers wide for good support for the shoulders. Then allow the legs to open one way and then the other, especially the opening in the front of the hips. Rilke writes, "I choose to begin. I love all beginnings, despite their anxiousness and their uncertainty." Let an arm enter in, bringing one arm around, extending the movement into the upper body. Next time you come around, pause. Knees are bent to the side, hands come down. You can stay up like this, or you can come down onto the forearms with the forehead on the hands, in the back of the hands. Letting the whole body twist, spiral. Breathing through the organs. Pushing into the hands, inhale up and come around to the other side, finding your place here for this twist. Inhale back up and come up to middle. We're going to do cow legs now. Cow legs are bending one leg and then bringing the other over. However, there's lots of modifications. You can keep both legs out and just cross them, or you can bring one partially over with one extended out. Find what works best for you. The beginning is best done with hips both on the pillow. If you're in a chair, you can do this in the chair with legs crossed. If you have a strap or a scarf, if you don't, that's fine, no problem. But if you have a belt or a strap or a scarf, bring it over one shoulder now. The opposite shoulder of the top knee. I should have said that first. So the strap is over the opposite shoulder. That arm reaches up and the other arm reaches out to the side. This arm, elbow up, and the hand comes down to onto the back of the shoulder or to catch the strap, and the other one comes back around. So in this pose, the beginning structure is practically the pose. One elbow goes up, one elbow down, feeling the length from the grounded hips up through the crown. If I have earned a pleasure or a reward, I choose to begin again. Release, unwind the legs, find your position for this next cow legs and cow arms. If you have a strap, it's on the other shoulder, opposite of the top knee. Other arm reaches up and the other one out and back. No straining here. Hands don't need to be close to each other. It's just a matter of turning one shoulder in and the elbow up, and one shoulder kind of externally rotated with the elbow coming down. If I wish that something had not happened, I choose to begin again. Release and put the strap aside. We're going to come down into a lying position now. If you have strap or belt, bring that with you. If not, you can do without and support with your hands. So once we get down here, let's take a nice long stretch, pulling up one wrist and pushing down with the foot, feeling long, long on one side, feeling the stretch through the hips and the waist and the chest and the arm, the leg, and then the other side. Stretching out all the busyness of the day, leaving it behind for this hour of new beginnings. Let's stretch the legs. Bring one leg up. If you have a strap, bring it around the arch of the foot, heel going up towards the ceiling. If you don't have a strap, just give some support behind the thigh. Knee is soft. It might be quite soft or just a little soft, but never locked. Opening up through the back of the leg, the connective tissue that runs really from the roof of the mouth all the way over the skull, down the back of the neck, down the back, and all the way up this leg to the bottom of the foot. And the knee is the place where we can give it a little relief, but we can also stretch it and warm it and lubricate it a bit. Giving support to your leg or both strands of the strap in your right hand, let that leg, or in whatever hand you have, let that leg come out to the side. On the opposite side, your arm extends out from the shoulder so that you're wide from the foot going out to the side and the opposite arm stretching out from the shoulder. Breathing into the lower abdomen, opening up space there. Inhale, giving that leg some help as it comes up, giving it some support as it goes over the midline. The sole of the foot might turn towards the opposite wall, and the hand on the same side as that leg will reach out from the shoulder. If you want to massage the side of that leg a bit, just with an easy rub up and down, often there's tension in this particular stretch. And then inhaling back up to center, remove the strap and raise the other leg. Heel once again up towards the ceiling. If you have a strap or belt, just gently drawing down, or hands behind the thigh. Relax through the cheeks and the shoulders. That leg reaches out to the side, arm reaches out from the shoulder. Breathing into the breadth of your body. Inhale the leg up. Give it some support as it comes across the midline. You might feel this through the side of your thigh, the IT band. I'm feeling it through the side of my calf and my ankle just now. Each body is different. And come up through middle. Remove the strap. Extend the legs out. Bring the arms crossed across the abdomen, then coming up crossed above the chest, as if you're taking off a t-shirt up over your head. Then uncross the arms, circle them around on each side of the body, coming back down to cross across the abdomen. Then crossing as they come up over the chest, reaching up overhead and opening up. One more time. Arms crossing over the chest, reaching up and around. Now bend the knees once again and bring the knees towards the armpits. Let the feet rise. Hands come to the bottom of the feet, either on the inside of the arches or the outside of the edges of the soles of the feet. Let the abdomen relax, the lower back hug the earth. Perhaps it will feel good to roll back and forth. If it doesn't, no need. This rolling back and forth gives a little extra massage to the kidney area behind the waist, encouraging our connection with water flowing. Then releasing down, we're going to do a fish pose. Bring the feet so that they are just a few inches below the buttocks and knees are bent. To begin this pose, the beginning is structured by your hands, which are not going to do any work, but they're going to give you some support. Fingers are spread, forefingers and thumbs together in a diamond shape. Lift the hips and bring those hands underneath the hips. So my hands are fingers spread underneath the hips with that diamond between the forefingers and the thumbs. Then extend the legs out. So the legs are extended out straight. Press into the hips and into the back of the head. Let the elbows come in towards the waist so that you're pressing into elbows, forearms, and the hips as you slide on the back of the head up towards the back of the crown. Feel some lift through the tailbone up into the spine. This is good for the stomach, stimulating the stomach meridian, and then sliding back down. Now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So the bottoms of my feet are coming together, knees are wide, and we'll do the same thing. My hands are still under my hips. Weight goes in to the hips. Elbows come in towards the waist. So weight into the elbows once they're in towards the waist, and then sliding up on the back of the head. Not so much coming up here, but this one is good for the liver. One more inhale and exhale here. Sliding back onto the back of the skull, and elbows come out and feet come out. Remove the hands from underneath you. And we're going to bring the feet up so that they are just below the buttocks once again. We'll do a moving bridge. Bring the weight into the soles of the feet, grounding down. This is our preparation here. Some attention to the shoulders, grounding down. Then lifting up through the hips as hands and hips rise up. Hands come up, fingers towards the ceiling, and then up behind you just as far as they can go, perhaps touching the floor, perhaps not. On the exhale, hands rise up once again. And long exhale as hands come down, meet the hips, and hips and hands come down to the mat at the end of the exhale. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale as hands and hips rise up, soles of the feet pushing down into the earth. Inhaling the hands all the way back as far as is accessible. And then exhaling as hands rise, meet the hips, and come down. 2 more times, inhaling up. Paying no mind to whatever praise or inability might have come to you in poses such as this before. Let this be a new beginning. And bring everything down. Let's take one more big stretch, lifting a wrist up above your head, reaching down with your foot, and the other side. Then bring the arms out diagonally and legs out diagonally like you're a big star on the earth. Reaching up through the crown, out through the fingers, out through the toes, perhaps pointing the toes. And flexing the feet. Then bringing everything in, rolling over, we'll come up to a tabletop position. So we're coming into a position that's on the knees. If you have trouble with knees, You can do these on the back of a chair. So we'll be doing a cat-cow. Please stay on the mat if you're able to be on your knees. We'll do a hip circle, which you can do standing if you wish. We'll do a thread the needle that if you wish to do it at the chair, you can. I'll come down onto the mat to do it here. So starting with hands structured underneath your shoulders and knees directly under the hips. Inhale as stomach sinks and heart slides forward. Exhale as the back arches up. Tuck the toes as the back arches up. Inhale, untuck the toes. Open through the front of the chest. And exhale. Opening up the back of the spine. Inhale, opening up the front. And one more time. And coming back to neutral. Bring your hands just a little farther forward if you are on the mat. If you're standing, stand straight and bring your hands onto your hips as they turn. We're going, if you're on the mat, bring your buttocks back over your heels, over to the side, up and over to the other side, making kind of a teardrop with your hips, letting them open and flow. If I doubt the worth of an experience and remain in my past, then I choose to begin at this very second. And one more time, back around the opposite direction. Now bring the hands back under the shoulders. Weight is in the left hand and the right hand reaches up. Then bring that right hand underneath the armpit or under the side of the body. And the side of the head, the side of the shoulder comes down onto the mat. The left hand might stay right beside your face, or it might reach up. Bring the hips so they're in line with the heels. That hand might come back around and wrap around your waist. Again, finding the place in the yoga pose that is just right for your body is our goal. Release and come back up through tabletop. Left hand reaches up and through. Come down on the shoulder, the side of the head. And perhaps you'll leave your right hand on the mat or bring it up and over. Inhale back up. We're going to sit back now on our heels if that's available to you. Again, these can be done on the back of the chair. We're going to do a few twists here. If that's uncomfortable for you, you can bring your legs out in front of you, and these twists are done just as well that way. Or you can just be at the chair doing these twists. So the first twist, bring the hand to the back of the ear, and the elbow is going to come across the body to the other side, twisting in a forward way. So you're coming forward, hand is behind the ear, and elbow comes to the opposite side of the body. And give yourself some support from the other hand. Breathe into that twist a few times. Release and come up and come into the beginning structure of that pose, hand becoming behind the head and elbow coming over. Breathing. Then lifting up. That particular twist was good for the heart meridian. Now, if you'd like to come back Again, your legs might be out in front of you, and that's fine. Hands come back behind you with fingers going backwards. Now giving some attention to the liver meridian. It's a kind of meridian yoga that we've been doing for the last several weeks, and this is just some review. Now with feet out in front or underneath you, either way, or on the chair, bring a hand up to your back. Now it might come to your waist, it might come up a little farther. Bring it up in the direction of this opposite shoulder if you have that capability in your shoulder. Then we're going to twist with this hand, giving some support in the back and twisting back, just as much as is amenable to your body. Inhale back up. Bring your other hand around to wherever is comfortable and come around to that side. Benefiting the liver by bringing some torque to the inner organs and stimulating them and coming back up. Now we're going to come into a downward dog. I'll do it on the mat. If you want to use the chair, again, you can come back for your downward dog and forward for your plank and up into a cobra. Later, we'll be doing a lunge, and that can be done at the chair as well. Bring your hands forward, tuck your toes, dig into the mat with your hands, your weight of your hips come back over the feet, long through the spine. Knees can be very soft here. And if you're at the chair, bring your feet back underneath your hips if you're at the chair. You might paddle your heels up and down a bit. Feel long and straight from the hips up through the ribs and the head. The shoulder blades coming to the edges of the body. Then coming forward into plank, and knees can be down here, or they might be up, either way, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows come in, knees come down if they're not down already, and let your body come down and come up into a cobra. This can be just a slight cobra, it doesn't have to be a high one. Tuck your toes, and once again, come up into downward dog. Or if you're on the chair, bring your feet back with your hips over your back, stretching the hips over the feet, stretching back through your back. Bring your knees down if you're on the mat, and we'll come into a lunge. So the lunge is a knee down lunge. If you're at the chair, just come into a knee up lunge. So we're coming into a lunge, opening up through the front of the hip flexor here. So feeling that stretch from the knee up through the front of the thigh and up through the side of the body. The hand, the right hand, the hand of the front knee is going to rise up with the palm facing up towards the sky, and the hand of the back leg is going to reach down. If you're by the chair, one hand can keep holding on to the chair if you would like. Reaching up with one and down with the other, opening through the front of the hip, and then switching. Then bring your right hand down inside your right foot and open up. And this hand might be on the chair if you are standing at the chair. Twisting, opening through the chest. Begin what? I begin. I have already thus begun 1,000 lives. Everything a beginning for Rilke. Now bring your knees together, and we're going to come up into a Warrior Two pose. So for Warrior Two, we have toes coming out towards the front of the mat, the knee is bent above the ankle, and the back foot is at 30 degrees. And you might have a more narrow stance or a wider stance. Find what is right for you and your hips and your feet. Beginning this pose mindfully, grounding down through all four corners of the feet, dynamic through the legs, feeling the thigh rotating inward somewhat, especially in this back leg, making it very strong. So strong in the bottom of the body that the top of the body can be light and open as you spread your wings out and your gaze goes out over your feathers. Breathing here. Drawing on your beginning energy, your primordial energy, of which we all have a reservoir. Bending the front arm, bring it down onto the leg, and the other arm comes up. It might just stay up, or it might come over the ear. Be a judge of what your shoulders and your whole body need and can bear at this point in time. Then bringing that top arm down and sliding down the back thigh a bit. The other arm reaches up towards the sky, sky gazing, star gazing, perhaps cloud and rain gazing warrior. And this is a warrior of peace, a warrior of new beginnings. And coming back through Warrior Two. Bring your hands to your hip creases and turn your feet so that they are pigeon-toed. As you make a structure, think of the triangle that you're making between the well-grounded feet and the strong hips. The hips that will be rising up as you bend forward from the base of your spine. Torso comes parallel to the earth. Knees are a little soft and hands come down towards the floor. You might have a block or something underneath there. If that works better, hands could be out a little farther if that gives you some relief, or you can always be at the chair to do this as well. So coming down in whatever way is available to you, lifting up through the hips, rounding down through the feet, and relaxing through lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. One more long inhale and exhale here. Then bringing the hands up to the waist, torso comes parallel, strong through the belly as you come up the rest of the way. And we'll come into Warrior Two on the other side. So finding your Warrior Two position on this side, knee right above the ankle and knee going towards the second toe. If that doesn't work so well, you can always bring that foot to be a little diagonal if that gives some relief to this hip. So adapt this to your hips, to your needs. So once again, our beginning, building on the potential of the strong foundation of the feet, the strong legs, and the light and open top, reaching your feathers out, almost feeling a bit of light flying through the arms. Breathing. Then bending that front arm, coming down onto some point on your thigh. Other arm comes up, might stay up, might come over the ear. Each pose, a choice to begin again. And now into another pose as we lift up And hand comes to the thigh in the back, and we reach up towards the stars. Relax down through your shoulders and shoulder blades. Let the fingers reach up from the shoulder. And come back through Warrior Two. And let's do the lunge on the other side. So if you're on a chair, you can be down with your knee down, or you might be on a chair. I'll be on a chair this time. And as before, one hand goes up, the hand of the front leg, and one hand goes down, palm up, palm down. You might be holding onto the chair here. Fine. Pull the thighs together for balance. Breathing. Letting this moment be one more beginning of your life. And bring the feet together. And if you're down on the mat, please come up to a standing position. Bring one foot forward and one foot stays back. So my feet are apart, a little more than hip width apart, and one foot is forward with the foot coming out just a bit. As we bring our weight back onto the back foot, arms open up with an inhale. And as we come forward with about 70% of our weight on the front foot, our fingers come towards each other. As if we're embracing a tree. Inhaling back and exhaling forward. Slow, steady movement of breath and body. Again, letting the mind ride the breath. Especially good for the lungs. One more time. Bring the hands back to the hips. Bring that foot in and the other foot comes out in the same manner. Weight in the back foot as the arms open. Elbows and wrists and shoulders are soft. Knees are soft. Exhaling forward. Creating your own rhythm. Breath, body, and spirit, all one. All one with that tree that you're hugging in front of you. One last time. And come back through center. Bring your feet wider than hip width apart, not as wide as you can go, but perhaps 2 feet apart. Bring the hands up as if they're holding a platter in each hand. So palms are up to the extent that you can, at about the level of ears or eyes, and elbows are bent. Knees are slightly bent. Again, you're kind of loose and soft here. We're going to twist around just slightly to one side, twisting at the waist. Feet strong and grounded. Again, this is good for the kidneys as you turn through the waist. Inhaling as you come center, exhaling as you twist. One more time to each side. And back through center. Keep this same structure. We're going to inhale in the center, and as we exhale, turn slightly to the side and push down with each hand, one on each side of the thigh. Doesn't have to be far. Inhale up. Exhale, turn slightly, pushing down from the back of the waist where the kidneys are, down through the palms of the hands. Inhale up And exhale, turn and push. An Ujjayi breath is nice here. Breathing through the back of the throat, filling the brain with ocean sound. One more time on each side. And come up. Feet come even wider apart now, about 3 feet apart. Hands are on thighs, and we're going to go back and forth like a skater from one foot to the other. Feeling that stretch through the inner thighs. Really expecting nothing of this pose. Just beginning and entering in. Now coming to a pause, bring the feet so that they're at 45 degrees and they can be closer or farther apart, but you don't want the knees to come out over the toes. So we're going to bend the knees slightly and come into goddess. So you might not be bent much. Elbows are out in cactus arms, fingers up. The tailbone slightly or more coming down towards the earth. Find your place and become the goddess. Always a new beginning. Inhale up and exhale back. One more time, up and back. Keep the feet more or less where they were. Knees bend and arms are loose, with loose elbows, loose fingers and wrists. Imagine that you're holding a rainbow, the end of the rainbow in each hand. Let one leg bend and the other one become straight as you do a little rainbow dance. Perhaps softening the gaze and visualizing the colors of the rainbow around you. This is good for the heart meridian that runs out from the chest out through the arms and into the fingers. And one more time to each side. And come back through center. Now bring the feet so that they are hip width apart. Inhale, arms up overhead. Come into steeple fingers, so 4 fingers together. Feet are under hips. Arms come up overhead, ground down through the feet. Invite the breath and movement to come up through the body, up into the fingers, and then exhale over to the side. What a long way over. Inhaling up, stretching, the stretch being important. And then the long, shallow side bend. One more time, inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up and exhale over. Bring hands around to the sacrum, fingers down in the back. Relax down through the shoulder blades, elbows coming somewhat towards each other. Inhale up through the sternum, gaze rises. As you exhale, knees bend and arms cross, fountain up. One more time, inhale up. And bend the knees and fountain up. Now we're going to do an earth practice, good for the spleen and the stomach that are connected with the earth in particular. Feet start together, then come out towards the right, arms come up, heel can come up also. Then swing the arms across, other heel can come up, weight is in the left foot now, and the front arm, palm up, bottom arm, palm down, or back arm, palm down. Then that front arm brushes down across the earth, arms come wide and loose, and feet come back together. Come out to the side, to the left this time, reaching up, across, front palm up, bottom palm down. Brush across the earth, arms wide, and back together. Open in the other direction, lift up, front palm up, back palm down. Brush the earth, open, and come together. Feet apart, heel up, open to the sky. Front palm up to the sky, bottom palm down to the earth. Brush across the earth, open, and come together. And one last time, up. And come together. Now bring the feet a little wider than hip width apart. And let's take, sorry to stop here, but let's take the strap if you have one. If you don't, you can just use your arms. And if you have a belt or some kind of scarf, that would be good. If you don't, just use your arms and put some energy into them as if you're pulling something apart so that you give them some strength as you're doing this. We use this to just open up the shoulders a bit. So bringing your hands not as far apart as they could be, out in front of you, and then raising your arms up, pulling out, whether that's an isometric pull or a pull on the strap, come up just as far as is comfortable. You don't need to go behind the head, just bringing it up and then bringing it down. Giving some strength to pulling out and coming up and down. Now, if you're able to bring your hands a little wider, do so. That might be on a strap, or maybe you don't have a strap and you just have your arms out and they're coming out a little wider. Keep them a little taut as they come up. And this time, perhaps you're able to bring them back just a little bit more and bring them forward. And one more time, coming up, wide and over. Now bring one hand up above you and one hand to the side. You might have a strap in your hand or you might not. Either way is fine. And then go back and forth, letting one hand pull down and kind of pulling that other one up as it pulls down. One hand pulls down, the other one comes up. Again, careful of any shoulder issues that you have. Then bring the strap forward and one part comes down, other part up. If you don't have a strap, arms are moving in opposite relationship to each other. And come down. We're going to end our time together with a breathing exercise. You can be in a chair or you can be on the floor, either one. And while we open with this energetic Kapalabhati, we're going to end with a calming breath called Nadi Shodana, which is alternate nostril breathing. So bring up your forefinger and your middle finger, then your peace sign, and then bring it down. Peace today, yes. And the thumb and the forefinger are going to close the nostrils. So the thumb comes to the right nostril, closes the right nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. ring finger closes the left nostril, breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in right. Close right with thumb and breathe out left. Breathe in left. Close left with ring finger and breathe out right. Finding your own rhythm, breathing out and in each nostril. If it's uncomfortable to close the nostril, just do it mentally. Imagining the breath coming from down beneath the navel, coming up the side of the spine to the nostril. Each nostril, an exhale and an inhale. Balancing the energies of the body. Bringing tranquility and calm to let us meet the challenges of our world. And the next time you breathe out of your left nostril, let that be the last time. Let hands come down to the thigh. Come into the awareness of the body, the loving awareness of the heart. The openness behind the heart. The softness of kidneys and spleen, intestines, the bones of the legs supporting you, the muscles soft around them. The spine, strong structure that prepares you for the world. Reaching up through the crown of the head, open to the universe and all of its energies. And bringing hands to heart center. May we be healthy. May we be spacious in our hearts and minds and spirits. May we accept uncertainty. And may we choose to begin at this very second. Namaste. Thank you for practicing.